So, Florida defeated USF this past Saturday, and I have a lot to say about the quarterback situation that's kind of unraveling with the Florida Gators right now. So, who should be the starting quarterback for Florida? Emory Jones or Anthony Richardson? Now, there are a lot of Florida fans who seem to be pretty 50-50 on this situation. Now, Dan Mullen pretty much has said that Emory Jones is going to be the starter going into Alabama. But when you look at Anthony Richardson, man, like every time he's on the field, he's making plays. And his first two passes against USF went for touchdowns. He was 3 of 3 for 152 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and ran for like an 80-yard touchdown and finished the game for 115 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. Meanwhile, you had Emory Jones, who was 14 of 22, 151 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He had 81 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown as well. But I mean, listen, I love Emory Jones. Okay, like I've been watching Emory Jones ever since I was a freshman in high school. I'm in my sophomore year now in college, and I really want to see Emory Jones succeed. Okay, and there are a lot of Florida fans who love Emory Jones as well. But at the same time, you simply can't overlook Anthony Richardson. Like, I think it's only a matter of time before Anthony Richardson ends up taking the job from Emory Jones. Now, I don't really know how Dan Mullen is going to play out this 2-quarterback system, especially going against Alabama, because I really feel like going against FAU and USF, you don't really see the negative effects of having a 2-quarterback system. But when you play a school like Alabama, I think it's really important that you have good rhythm and that you have good timing. And when you're switching in between quarterbacks every single drive or a play, like it kind of ruins the chemistry, the timing gets thrown off. So I really feel like against Alabama, we're really going to have a really good look at this quarterback situation. I feel like whichever quarterback plays the best against Alabama should be the starter for the remainder of the season. And I really love Emory Jones. Like, Emory Jones is one of my favorite players in college football. I've been waiting for years to see Emory Jones finally get an opportunity to shine. And I made a video talking about why I feel like Emory Jones have a breakout season before the season started, all the way back in May or April. So I mean, like, I'm really high on Emory Jones. I love Emory Jones, but I just feel like with the way things are unraveling with Anthony Richardson, like at one point it was okay, how much Anthony Richardson are we going to see? He's just going to get mop-up duty, but you know, he's getting significant playing time, and it's to the point like he's now, you know, a factor in the offense. Like now you're kind of game planning ways to get Anthony Richardson involved. So if I'm Emory Jones, like his margin for error is really small at this point. Now, Dan Mullen is being really patient with him. He's still keeping him as a starter going into the game against Alabama. But, I mean, Emory Jones is on a pretty slippery slope right now. Because if he comes out flat against Alabama, Anthony Richardson lights up Alabama, his job is pretty much taken at this point. So, I think that Dan Mullen is going to keep riding out this 2-quarterback system until we get into the Alabama game. But I think after they play Alabama, we're going to have our answers in terms of who should be the starting quarterback for Florida for the remainder of the year. Now, I'm hoping that it's Emory Jones. Nothing against Anthony Richardson. I just want to see Emory Jones succeed because I've been a big fan of Emory Jones ever since he was playing in high school. You know, I've waited several years to finally get an opportunity to see what Emory Jones can do as a starter. But I mean, like, his 2 games against USF and FAU haven't really been all that stellar, and they haven't really been all that great for what you expect a quarterback going against inferior opponents like FAU. No offense to, you know, the university I currently attend right now, but, you know, Emory Jones should have had a better performance against FAU than what he did. You also look at a performance against USF. It wasn't all that great. And Dan Mullen said, you know, there's growing pains. He understands that maybe it's taking a little bit longer for things to click for Emory Jones, but it doesn't look like it's taking all that long for things to click for Anthony Richardson. And Anthony Richardson is a freak. This dude is fast. He's huge. Like, listen, man. I would not be surprised if we see Anthony Richardson starting over Emory Jones at some point this year if Emory Jones' performance doesn't improve. Dan Mullen's being really patient. I have to give him a lot of credit because there are a lot of coaches in this day and age of college football who would already started Anthony Richardson over Emory Jones. So when I look at Emory Jones, man, I love him a lot. He has questionable decision making. His accuracy kind of is hit and miss at times. But I definitely feel like he has a lot of potential. He also knows the offense. He does have a little bit of experience. But overall, man, I think that Anthony Richardson is just too talented. Like, I just feel like eventually Anthony Richardson is going to end up taking over this job at some point if Emory Jones' performance doesn't improve. Because, I mean, at first, before the season started, he was a backup. We didn't really expect to see much of Anthony Richardson. Well, at least I didn't expect to see much of Anthony Richardson going into this year. Now, there are some people out there who are kind of on top of this who felt like Anthony Richardson kind of could make this, a little bit of a controversy. But I wasn't really expecting this to be a controversy. I thought Emory Jones would come in, be able to do what he needs to do, and, prove that this is his job. But it hasn't really felt like Emory Jones has really took a hold of it. It doesn't really feel like this is Emory Jones' team because the performances haven't really led up. And Emory Jones has been in the Florida program for a while now, so it really shouldn't be any excuse. As a matter of fact, the role should kind of be reversed. Emory Jones should be the quarterback coming out, lighting the world on fire, impressing everybody, not Anthony Richardson. I've been more impressed with Anthony Richardson than I have with Emory Jones. And then you got to remember, Anthony Richardson isn't even the starter. He's the backup, and he's outplaying Emory Jones. And that's scary. He only threw 3 passes. 2 of them went for touchdowns. It seems like every time that Anthony Richardson is in the game, something great happens. So I just feel like when you look at Anthony Richardson, like he just has something special. Like he's just a playmaker. He runs that. He's wearing that number 15. You remember that Tim Tebow number, that number 15. Like I think it's just really something special with Anthony Richardson. Like he just has a special spark. He has a special it factor about him. And I'm not saying that Emory Jones doesn't have that. I'm just saying like when you look at Anthony Richardson, man, you're looking at somebody who is going to be special. Really special. And your Dan Mullen seemed like he can't keep him off the field. Like Dan Mullen has to find a way to get him involved, it seems like. It seems like Dan Mullen, stays up late at night trying to figure out new ways to get Anthony Richardson involved in the game. So I just feel like it's only a matter of time before we see Anthony Richardson starting over Emory Jones at some point this year if Emory Jones doesn't pick it up. And I hope that Emory Jones is able to get things back on track. I hope that he's able to end up having a really strong game against Alabama. And overall, I hope that he can remain the starting quarterback for Florida for the remainder of the year and throughout the rest of his collegiate career. But I think it's only a matter of time before we start to see Anthony Richardson taking over the reins at QB for Florida full time. And like I mentioned, that 2 QB system, it has some positives because you kind of keep the defense on their toes. You don't really know what to expect. You don't really know what you're going to do. But at the same time, it kind of ruins the timing and the chemistry offensively when you keep on switching in and out quarterbacks. So really interesting seeing how this QB situation for Florida plays out. I want my guy Emory Jones to succeed. I really do. I love Emory Jones. He's one of my favorite players in college football. But I really feel like it's only a matter of time before Anthony Richardson takes over, man. Because every time he comes in the game, he's making a play, man. And he's not really getting the amount of snaps that Emory Jones is getting either, man. So imagine what Anthony Richardson could do if he was, the full-time starting QB and Florida didn't have this quarterback carousel going on right now. So you guys let me know how you guys feel about the quarterback situation for Florida. Who do you guys think should be the starting quarterback, Emory Jones or Anthony Richardson? Let me know down in the comment section down below if you're watching this on YouTube.